This is the truth behind sponsored content. Do content creators actually get paid? What's it actually like working with a brand? Are sponsored posts even fun? I decided to post this when I didn't have any sponsored content, that way people didn't think it was about a specific brand. This is a general video based on my personal experiences, other people's experiences that they shared with me, research, and talking with people who work for brands who make these opportunities happen. Yes, this is going to be a long video and it's going to be available on all of my major platforms. And I will say, although most of this information is universal, I am coming at it from the lens of an anime and cosplay content creator, and most of my focus and my opportunities have been from Instagram and TikTok. Things might be a little different on YouTube or Pinterest or somewhere else. First, what's branded content versus sponsored content versus the paid promo? Because it can get a little confusing. On the surface level, it doesn't really matter too much. As a viewer, as someone who's not a content creator, you don't really have to worry about it. But technically, there is a difference. Branded content is when a brand uses your content on their own platform. So if Pair Incorporated reaches out to you to advertise their new phone and then post that video onto their website, that is branded content. It's a part of their content and their community and direct advertising. A sponsored post would be another party posting for the brand. So if you're making a video and posting it on your page talking about the new Pair phone by Pair Incorporated, that video is sponsored by Pair Inc. That's a sponsored post. So more specifically, it's using your likeness, your uniqueness as a content creator to spread the information and boost sales within a more specific audience. And the thing is, either of those could be paid or unpaid. Sometimes you'll get paid to talk about something or promote something. Other times you'll be gifted an item or a service in exchange for a video. Sometimes you'll get nothing but experience and clout. You can add it to your content creator resume. You can use it to make connections. Other times you're just being used and you realize too late, and then you'll learn and do better, and next time you won't get used because you're growing, you're confident, you're proud of yourself, you know your worth. So people love to comment like, get that bag, bro's getting the bag, bro's chasing the bag. Sometimes there is no bag to be had. Sometimes the bag is bad, but that bag is necessary for your doctor's appointment. Other times the pay is really bad, but you're working with a company that you really enjoy. You're getting a product that would really help out your content or your life. And then of course there's a time when it's a win-win. You get a lot of money, you get a cool product, you get to do something that's really fun. That is the goal. That's the top tier brand deal. And then as for paid promotions, I think those are basically just anything that is meant to be an ad. So it's kind of a general term. As long as you're receiving something, a gift, a service, a perk, and I think even like a closer relationship within a company's reach, that would be considered some sort of paid promo in the eyes of the FTC. Okay, now that we have definitions out the way, it's time for the juicy stuff. Working with brands can be a pain in the butt. There's like a little bit of a stressor or just an irritation, to the point where I remind myself that people are paying to be a hindrance in my life. People are not only paying me to give them a service, but they're paying me to use that time and energy that I would be using to create my own content for them. They are taking up my creative freedom. Because me personally, most of the time, I'm not cool enough to just do whatever I want and get away with it. There's a pressure to perform well, to get views. I have to follow guidelines. And so sometimes that can make it feel like you're regressing and the content that you're making is worse than what you would usually make. And that's because you're just not doing things that are within your scope. You're doing things that are awkward and have rigidity. You have to throw in a bunch of sales dialogue. And I'd say depending on what kind of content creator you are versus the content that you're asked to make, the difference in what you usually make in the final product can be extremely jarring. For example, if you're an anime reviewer, then talking about anime is going to be really simple for you. If you're someone who does a bunch of silent skits and visuals, suddenly doing a talking and review video might be kind of awkward. On the flip side, if you do lifestyle content, clothing content, being asked to create a skit for a company might be outside of your comfort zone. As usual, I'm a tiny bit weird because I can think of sponsored posts as a way to prove myself, as a way to act cool, to cosplay being important. It can be a way for me to test my range. Sometimes it's not that serious, it's just whatever. But sometimes I really take it as an opportunity to be like, hey, this is what I can do when I have incentives and resources. This is how I can show your product off. Hey world, I'm available. I'm a creative person. I make cool things. I can make cool things for you. Pick me, choose me, love me. I'll try really hard to take that already awkward and rigid concept and add whatever uniqueness and sense of RJ that I can to that. And also, I used to be a videographer, as in I did a bunch of non-anime stuff. I was trying to explore the world, meet new people, try new things, capture the world in different ways. Sponsored content is kind of my way of feeling like that again. It gives me an excuse to just do things I haven't done before. And I've already had 2 or 3 people specifically regularly tell me that they reached out to me and wanted to work with me because they saw my prior sponsored posts. So honestly, how people approach promotional content varies. It really depends on your goal. Do you want to use it as a way to improve your resume and get your voice out and view every video as an opportunity to show off? Or is it just cash? You do the bare minimum, you walk away, you continue with the regular content, and that's it. In terms of actually working with brands, sometimes you're not actually working directly with a brand. Especially when it comes to bigger size companies, you'll often work with an agent or an agency, so multiple agents. So if Pear Inc. is releasing a new laptop, you might work with John Smith from Content Farm. That's just a random name that I made up for this agency. And Content Farm is the third party who does all the talking and making all the connections. They'll team up with Pear Incorporated, a Keen, California role, and then they'll communicate with the content creator what the big brand wants from them, and then they'll tell these big brands what this content creator can provide. So yes, while you can technically say that you're working with a Keen, California role, Pear Inc., by the end of the project, you might not have ever talked to anyone directly from any of those companies. This can be super frustrating because the third party really is a third party. They're not your own personal manager, and they're trying to play both sides. Well, ideally, there's probably going to be some bias. So that means communication can get messy very quickly. Communication can get delayed very quickly. That was kind of an oxymoron. Ironic. And over the years, even though I haven't been super mean to people, I've just started to realize that sometimes the third party is working in your favor and you don't know it. They're secretly rooting for you, they're trying to do whatever they can to help you out, but at the end of the day, the brand has the final say, and Content Farm might be just as frustrated and stressed as you are. So now when Content Farm emails you at 1 a.m. that you have to do 10 revisions and then you have to redo the entire video, they might secretly be like, I feel so sorry for this content creator, but at least I got them an extra $200 or something like that. I don't know. In terms of pay, you can't always tell how much someone got paid by the company they worked for or how excited they seem in the video. Sometimes the highest paying videos come from companies you've never heard of or independent artists who are looking for some extra reach. Sometimes the worst paying, most annoying, pickiest companies are the companies that everyone wants to work for because they're so big, they're so popular, they blah 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 blah, and then you're like, dang, you're cheap. Imagine you finally get to work with Inside Out Burger, your favorite burger joint, you go twice a week, and all they offer you for a 2-minute video is a 50% off coupon and a side of fries. On top of that, you have to do a story post and whitelist your 2-minute video. But of course, that's where your maturity as a content creator and your ability to advocate for yourself comes into play. Is this opportunity worth taking? Will you ask for a better price? Will you decline altogether? The one piece of advice I'll leave for anyone who's wanting to get into sponsored posts or branded posts is to figure out what your goals and values are and what your boundaries are, and not to figure out what to do for every single situation and figure out every single rule. Okay, and what does that actually mean exactly? So I'm sure many of you have seen templates that people have made where if a brand reaches out to you, you can copy and paste this as an email and reply to them. And those can be really great and effective tools. However, unless you have a ton of experience or you really have worked with every single brand ever and you have it all figured out, each experience after that first email is probably going to be different. There's going to be some sort of unique twist, a weird rule, a new workflow. Someone's going to break the law in a way that you never thought the law could be broken. Sometimes it's as simple as, hey, make this video and we'll PayPal you in the next hour. Other times they want a draft, a second draft, 3 revisions, a story post, and a partridge in a pear tree. But as long as you focus on knowing your worth, sticking to your boundaries and what your goals are, you can pretty much figure out a solution for every single situation. So that's all I have for this video. It was a very broad video. Let me know if you have any other questions about sponsored posts or branded content or what it's like working with brands. Have a great day.